Tristan, you made the comparison to our Witcher discussions with the kind of shadow of Yennefer that hangs over the chapters she's not even in. I was thinking about that going into this episode. Last week we saw the Greens. This week we see Rhaenyra's team. And it felt like another couplet, another set of chapters or episodes that play as counterpoints to each other, where in both episodes we see a crowning, we see one major storyline, we see an inciting incident with a dragon that changes the whole game, and we see Rhaenyra and Alicent, respectively, thinking of each other, hanging over each other's decisions and sort of staying each other's hands.
Yeah.
Were you satisfied with this sort of couplet to cap off the season and sort of the last moments before presumably open warfare between these two women?
Well, yeah, it was also interesting because not only did we get this sort of couplet, they were also juxtaposed because first in episode 9 we got to see our lead fighter on the Greens, right, sort of be stripped of a lot of her agency. A lot of things sort of happened that were outside of her control. Because, the people around her had their own schemes and were executing them. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've seen a lot of power foisted upon Rhaenyra, and she is actively claiming that role. So we've seen Alicent fall and Rhaenyra rise. Viewing those two storylines side by side is an interesting choice. And I don't ultimately know. I don't think that continues, right? I don't think we continue to see Alicent lose power. But it's just it's interesting to see how that happens because throughout the entirety of this season, we've seen Alicent sort of have the upper hand just in terms of what her position was in the court and how Rhaenyra was treated. And now Rhaenyra is sort of rising to the occasion. She is taking charge over her advisors, instead of the opposite happening.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to think of these two episodes kind of side by side because both Rhaenyra and Alicent are making decisions largely based on their children. Right. And then also in both episodes, there are scenes of the two oldest sons fighting. In episode 9, it's Aemond and Aegon actually fighting.
Right.
And in this one, it's Luke and Jace pretend fighting, basically.
Yeah.
It's still pretty aggressive, and you see Jace being like, come on and get it together.
He's being the older brother.
He's being the older brother, but they're literally training, right? So you kind of see both of those pairs, which then is great when. Well, is it great? It's devastating when Luke and Aemond then come together and those two teams sort of overlap.
Well, and exactly. To even further, that comparison works because you have the mother sending her son out on a mission, trusting her son to go get the important job done.
I see. Yeah. Ugh, bummer.